Introducing Zentrix AI-powered trading signals service. Tired of second-guessing your trades? Zentrix AI scans the markets 24/7 with powerful, proven indicators built to give you clarity. You get 200+ signals every day on 15-minute, 1-hour, 4-hour, and daily charts. We cover Forex, crypto, commodities, indices, and stocks, so you're covered no matter what you trade. And the best part, you get all this delivered 3 ways, every day. Web alerts give you fast, clean access right from your dashboard. Telegram delivers real-time entries, confidence levels, sentiment, and trade duration. And email gives you the full breakdown, including 2 profit target levels and deep market analysis. Just hold $5 worth of ZTR. See what you can achieve with powerful AI trading intelligence by Zentrix. Try it now. And join our Telegram channel.
Okay guys, what is up? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. As always guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to like and subscribe. It does really help out. Share the videos with your friends, and of course, hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. What is up, gang? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Flash, Solver, what is up? Hope you're doing good. Bashi, my man, hope you are doing good. I appreciate it. Like, share, and subscribe is appreciated. Of course, any questions, do drop it in the chat. Do really appreciate that, Bashi. But yeah, guys, hope everyone is well. Another day in the markets. We'll go through the USD side of things to start with. Talk about the dollar, USD majors, gold, silver. And of course, we'll go through any requests. Drop it in the chat. If you are looking at any particular pairs, let me know. And we shall take a look. I'll go through the DXY first, and then start to go through some of the USD pairs. And of course, if there's a particular time frame you do want me to look at, because most of the time I'm on the full hour, maybe daily chart. But if you want me to drop a bit more intraday or look at some higher time frames, let me know in the chat. And of course, we'll take a look as well. You're on your stream as well. Wow, that is multitasking, Bash. That is multitasking. Wow. Streaming and then on someone else's stream. Never heard of that before. Might be the first, but okay, take care, man. Anyway, guys, let's go through some of the USD side of things. So we'll start with the DXY. So it's looking interesting with the dollar. It's looking interesting. I say that because, again, as I said coming into the week, I've been pretty bullish on the dollar, looking for buying opportunities for USD. And that is still the plan, even though it doesn't look as great as it is right now. As prices approach this area of demand, this is basically where I want to do my business. If USD is going to be bullish, this is where I want to see that upside come from. At the moment, not really seeing any convincing price action. Quite flat. We were quite bearish yesterday. I mean, there's nothing that says, okay, the buys aren't here anymore. You know, until price kind of breaks structure over here, that's when I will truly say, okay, that bullish bias has been put to bed. But there is still potential upside, potential move from this area. But I need to see more development, maybe a bit of a consolidation form, maybe some more wicks to the downside, more rejection, and some impulsive bullish candles start to print. When I can see that, then okay, I can start talking about the buys again, and hopefully a push to the upside. You've got targets here initially, and if everything goes very well, possibly a push to 100.2. So that is still the plan. I'm not really interested in the shorts. I do think there could be some sell opportunities on the lower time frames, but from a 4-hour swing bias, this is still very much what I'm looking for, but not quite there yet. Dollar still looks pretty bearish. Have to be quite careful with the buys until we see some convincing price action. I'm very much on the sidelines with the USD pairs. So taking a look at, yeah, exactly, and on the 1 minute as well. So taking a look at Euro USD. Again, with this one, same logic applies. We potentially could still be putting a lower high in. As you can see, you got consolidation there, very aggressive move down, and now price is back there again, and it's looking quite corrective, which again is a characteristic of potentially a lower high forming. We start off pretty aggressive off the back of NFP, but now we've been pretty corrective. So I actually quite like what I'm seeing. Very choppy move into this area, potentially. Again, that could be the move that is on the cards, and that's what I'm looking at. So I'm waiting to see if I can get some more convincing price action in and around this area. Of course, keeping one eye on the dollar as well, on the DXY, because I kind of want to see them synchronized together and both give me convincing price action at the same time. Had a bit of a bearish candle there this morning. Nothing too crazy, nothing that will tell me to hop into the trade. I'm liking the fact that we are finding resistance here, so that's a good thumbs up. But again, I need a little bit more before I do enter a trade myself. But I am seeing rejection here, so the bearish buys for Euro, the bullish buys for USD is still on the cards. We're seeing some evidence, but I need a lot more before I do take any trades. But still keeping an eye, and that is very much still the bias for the dollar. And again, targets back to this low being one, and that low being a second. And we'll go from there. Pound USD, no, there's not much going on here. I think that's because pound is really strong, and we are testing the highs over here, and very, very close to a break of structure here. So if pound USD does see a strong close above this, yeah, I'm not really interested in the shorts. I mean, anything can happen with the FX markets. We could break structure, then break back in, and it could be a fake out potentially. But the probability wise, if we do break the high, I don't see price suddenly doing that. Could happen, but low probability. We want to focus on higher quality opportunities, which I would say are likely to happen. So if pound USD does break the highs, that pretty much puts the short bias I had coming to the week to bed pretty much. I'm not interested in touching pound. Maybe you can even speak about some buying opportunities if something looks good there on a pullback. But yeah, pound USD was pretty bearish coming to the week. We haven't really seen much bearish momentum actually kind of set well, and we've been looking pretty bullish. Of course, pound's been very, very strong, and now looks like we're likely to take out the highs there. And if that does happen later today or whenever, I'm backing away from the sells and maybe focusing a bit more on the buys, but at least being neutral. Over to USD CAD. So USD CAD potentially again still could form a higher low. It's kind of just messing around at this support and resistance level on the daily chart. So you got support there previously, resistance once, resistance twice, and now it looks like price is just kind of having a bit of fun at this area. Is it acting as support? Maybe. Looks like it might be. And that could potentially induce a nice move to the upside. That's still very much the bias there for dollar CAD. We've been in this range for a few weeks. We finally got the breakout. Is this just the retest of that range for price to continue? That's the way I see it for dollar CAD at the moment. Just needs some more convincing bullish structure. We did see a nice close this morning. Quite a few of the USD pairs did close pretty well, but I would still argue that for the most part, kind of just a bit sideways here for dollar CAD. So I'm not quite convinced just yet, but I do think something is brewing up with the fact how sideways we are. Again, maybe if we can get a strong close above that, that could be a nice entry on itself, or maybe you could look for some lower time frame pullbacks to ride it back to the high there at 1.38779. So dollar CAD still bullish bias. I'm not really interested in the shorts whatsoever. It looks like it's still hanging on for that on that level for dear life. So if momentum can start to pick up, I do think some buyers could follow there for dollar CAD. CAD's still been pretty weak, so if USD does gain some strength, I think we'll see dollar CAD start to fly pretty much. But nothing quite there yet. That's the key thing I'm getting at. Euro, nothing quite there yet. Pound, definitely not. Dollar CAD, not quite there yet. We are seeing price start to respect support, but nothing convincing in terms of any entries. Aussie dollar, likewise as well. Nice push to the downside, pretty aggressive close, but not enough for me to get into a trade just yet. I do like one thing about Aussie is that we are corrective on the way up, which again leads me to believe that probably this is a pullback for more downside. Price did go and break through structure. Is this a lower high falling for a push down? It possibly could be. I'm not quite sold yet with the price action. Need a little bit more convincing before I do hop into anything, but I'm keeping an eye. It looked as if price was going to break back inside the channel, inside this ascending channel, which I said if price does convincingly, I kind of just will move away from Aussie dollar. And it sort of is, sort of isn't. It's just kind of retesting on the side. So the hopes for shorts are still quite there. Yes, they were looking quite bullish, but we managed to pull back. And of course, today is looking a little bit bearish as well, providing some nice wicks to the upside. So if we are going to sell off, if we are going to respect this channel, this is the area which we need to do it in, and start to look for some selling opportunities. So I'm keeping a close eye on Aussie. I am not quite there yet with the sales. I know that's a pretty nice bearish candle, but the way I see it, we're kind of still respecting this this ascending channel here. So I kind of want to see a little bit more evidence of us kind of breaking out of that before I do do pull the trigger. But I'm liking how we're looking. Very, very corrective on the way out. Looks like a lower high could be forming. Yeah, if USD can see some strength, I think that's going to be the tipping point for a lot of these USD pairs. Dollar CAD will fly, Euro will start to fall, Aussie will push up. Not sure about pound because pound's quite strong. Unless pound dramatically weakens. Not sure about that one, but the other USD pairs do look likely. New Zealand dollar as well, very corrective on the way up. You know, is this just another lower high in the sequence? One over there, second over there, is a third forming. This looks really corrective to me, which again is a characteristic of a pullback, which is what I want to see. And possibly we could be getting ready for another drop. I do prefer Aussie. I think it's a little bit cleaner and it's got a bit more room to the downside. So I'd rather focus my efforts on Aussie dollar. And again, they're very similar pairs as well. So I always want to pick between the two. But very corrective. And again, showing some signs of selling pressure kicking back in. So maybe again, if we can consolidate for a little bit, maybe a strong break of that counter trend line, that could be a strong catalyst for an entry and shorts back into the low and maybe further as well. So I think we're really relying on this USD strength coming in. We had a look at the DXY, not looking quite convincing. I mean, if I look at the capital.com, yeah, not quite convincing in terms of momentum just yet. So maybe we can start to see some real momentum here for the dollar. Then we'll see the other USD pairs start shaping up potentially. And of course, if USD continues to fall, then all those setups I just mentioned kind of go out the window. So it's definitely make or break in terms of where we're trading. If I head over to gold, gold haven't really been focusing on gold. It's just really choppy. We were looking semi-bullish yesterday. We did see a bit more upside, then we topped out and we're back at support again. So the way I see it, price is ranging and we're kind of in the middle of that range, which again is the worst place to do the business because you got a lot of indecisiveness in that area, a lot of fluctuation, no real safe place to put a stop loss as well. It's just very, very risky business there. Unless you're in there just trying to take a small piece of the pie in and out very quickly, sure, I think you can get away with that. But any kind of meaningful swing, unless you're right on the lower time frames, it's going to be difficult because of how choppy the market is and the fact we're not really trading at any area of significance. So gold, for me, not much to report on. As I said yesterday and the day before that and last week, these are the areas which I want to do my business in. If I can find some opportunities here, sure, buying low, selling high, or waiting for breakouts, that's kind of where my interest lies. In the middle of all of this, I'm not really interested with gold at all. So yeah, not much to report on, to be honest. I don't really have much of a bias here until we do approach the highs or the lows. Then I can be a bit more of use. But yeah, not a fan at all of gold. And silver's interesting. We did see quite a lot of aggressive momentum yesterday. And of course, that's kind of topped out. I was talking a lot about some selling opportunities around this area. We saw a slight move, but nothing significant. We kind of broke above that with this bullish move. So with silver coming into last week, I was pretty bearish. I was looking for shorts to try and find a continuation of this bearish leg. So a nice impulsive move, pullback, continuation. Didn't see that happen. And I'm not betting on that anymore. We had a big V-shaped pattern here, which again typically is a bullish reversal pattern. So I kind of do expect to see something like this form for silver and maybe a push back to highs. After all, the overall uptrend is still at play. We are still quite bullish. You know, I think there's a good case for more upside in just price making its way back to highs. I have spoken a lot about the retest of this area. I think that's a nice place for a buy, but I'm not too sure if we do come back to revisit that area. If we do, great. I'm all over it. If not, then yeah, we're going to find some other opportunities elsewhere. I think maybe some intraday pullbacks could look good on the way up back to highs. That might be where it's at for silver. But yeah, not the biggest fan of the price action. I was looking for shorts, trying to catch the continuation of this leg. That isn't the case anymore. Not quite seeing the pullback I was after. So yeah, if we continue to break highs, then I would say silver's pretty bullish. And there's a good likelihood that we do eventually push back to highs at 39.5. So intraday opportunities, I think, could come along there. But that's about it for USD for now. What is up? What is up? He's back. Taking that you've ended the stream then. Weather brilliant today. Not cooking. Yeah. Weather's better. I think around 24, 25 is a good spot for the UK. When it starts approaching 30 and beyond that, it can get a little bit ugly in the UK, not gonna lie. Abroad, different kettle of fish, but yeah, 30 degrees and beyond, especially when it starts becoming late at night and you're trying to sleep, not brilliant. Anton, the DAX. Okay, we could take a look at the DAX. First, I do want to showcase the platform if you guys haven't caught it. Zentrix AI, we're launching a perp trading platform. I want to go through that quickly and share that with you guys. Very excited about the opportunities that lie with this platform. And we'll quickly go through that and then we'll get back to the analysis. Let me just move that the way. So yeah, if you haven't seen it already, this is our new perps trading platform, which will allow you to trade straight away from your Solana or your Ethereum wallets. Any wallets in this area here you can connect with and begin trading straight away. If you do want to go live, you can do that. If you want to test the demo side of things, we do have a demo network, a test net, which you can just connect your wallet and trade in a demo environment. So there's no risk involved. You can test out the platform. And just like you would trade with any other platform, set limits, market orders, stop loss orders, take profit orders. You can test all of that out and test it for yourself. You can get with the Solana DevNet, you get test USDC of 500 USDC, and with the Arbitrum you get 5,000 USDC to test with and trade with. And of course, if you don't have a wallet, you can connect via your email as well. So not to worry on that regard. But at the moment, only cryptocurrencies you can trade. There's a wide range of them you can go through. But in the future, we'll be having FX markets, indices, and other markets as well to trade with. But just as any other platform, you can set orders, set limits as well. You can scale into entries as well, just like you would do with any other platform. But the beauty of it is that we don't have the restrictions like you do with other big brokers like Binance. You can connect straight away and all settlements are done instantly. So you'll be able to withdraw straight away and don't have to worry about requesting for your money with a 48-hour delay or even longer as well. It's very instant and settlements are done straight away. So a lot to come with that platform. Keep an eye out. The link to the platform, if you guys want to check it out for yourself, is in the description below. So if you haven't checked it out already, I do recommend you guys go and do that. But yeah, we'll take a look at the DAX next. Okay, normally at 10:15 in the dots if I'm not in a trade. Fair enough. Yeah, you do stream for quite some time, Bashi. I think you go live. Is it like 7:30 to 10:15? Especially for the 1 minute chart, that's like the whole. It's a lot of price action in that time. Okay, let's take a look at the DAX. Okay. So yeah, the DAX is looking pretty bullish. I do expect more upside for the DAX. The analysis I had coming to the week was simply looking for a retest of this area for a buy. The way I see it, price has been consolidating, had a massive break to the downside, but to me that looks like a big fake out. And since price recovered so aggressively, look at the size of that bullish candle. We recovered so aggressively above this area. A lovely retest over here. The way I see it, price has just come back for a pullback of that bullish candle. And now we're seeing the continuation. So my best guess for the DAX would be a swing back to highs. So in terms of an opportunity, the best opportunity would have been the retest of this area, especially scaling down to the low time frames, really refining the entry. That would be the best opportunity. You can look for some buys now as well, since we've got the break of this flag pattern, the breakout of this channel. Entering some buys here makes sense as well, because you kind of got the retest, you got the breakout, so momentum is confirmed in your direction. The only disadvantage with this is that with a stop loss placement, you could have it here, which is a bit more aggressive, but you're kind of banking on momentum continuing, so it makes sense there. But if you want to have the safest stop loss, you probably would put it underneath the low here. So just in case price does come back for a retest, you're still looking good. So of course the downside of that is your risk reward won't be that great. Probably looking at about a 1-to-1 back into the high there maybe. If you can take an entry here for stop loss here, might be looking at 1-to-2, maybe a bit more than that as well, back into the high. So here you probably have a slightly better risk reward, but a little bit more aggressive with the stop loss placement. But I like what I'm seeing. If you're not in the trade here, I do think there's some entries there and some opportunities regarding the stop loss placement, whether you want to maximize risk reward or maximize kind of the safety of the position and putting the stop loss where potentially you give yourself the most room for the trade to play out. That'll be up to you. Again, there's no right or wrong answers really. It's just kind of what you want to focus on. But yeah, with DAX, I do favor this to happen and push back to highs. After all, the trend is still very much in play on higher time frames. Looks like we just basically put another higher low in here. So you got one over there, second over there, expecting a push back to highs and new highs to form shortly afterwards as well. And yeah, I was looking at a lot of the indices yesterday and they all look pretty bullish to me. So I do expect a lot more upside with the indices going forward. And the DAX included. Yeah, 7:30, 10:15. So that's almost 3 hours there. Especially on the 1 minute time frame as well. But to be honest, with the 1 minute time frame, there's a lot to talk about as well. So because from the 4 hour time frame, even in that period, you're not going to see a whole lot of difference in the price action. But with the 1 minute, there will be a lot to talk about. Things will be happening all the time. But yeah, that's a pretty decent stream there. In terms of the position I'm in, I'm still in my 2 positions from last week, pound Aussie longs and Aussie CHF longs as well. I have trailed stops over here, so the original stops were down there, but I am trailed to here now. So there's very minimal risk on the position because momentum has continued in my favor. Yeah, I mean, again, the reason why I took the trade is nothing crazy. I'm literally just looking to buy the low of the range in the expectation that we'll see a push back to the high of the range. I took the entry on the breakout there, original stops beneath the low there, but I have now trailed just underneath this low here. My mouse is covering, but underneath that low there is where my stop loss is, because if the market does decide to turn around and push past this low, well, probably I don't want to be in the trade anymore at that point. We're probably going to come back for another retest of this area. So I'd rather just wait to see how price reacts and then just re-enter the position if things look good again, rather than just stay in the trade with the hope that price will push up. So yeah, with pound Aussie, I am trading stops here, looking good so far. Really nice candle closure this morning. Momentum's looking pretty good. Again, expectation to push to the high of the channel, and we'll see from there. I'll take most of the profit there, but if I'm seeing some evidence that we are potentially looking at a breakout, the reason I say that is because pound NZD, which is a very similar pair to pound Aussie, is looking like potentially a breakout is happening there to the upside. So if pound NZD is going to break out, there's a pretty good chance that pound Aussie is going to break out as well. So as you can see, pound NZD has been in this range for quite some time as well. Very similar pairs. They do the same thing 8-9 times out of 10. So you can see this pair's in a consolidation, and today we're seeing some serious bullish momentum. Of course, the day's still young. This could still potentially pull back and leave a big wick. But if we do close like this, that is a pretty strong sign to me that we are breaking out this range and possibly going to push back to some highs around 2.3. So if pound NZD is going to make that move, there's probably a good chance that pound Aussie is going to make that move eventually and push back to the high here. So if I can trade it back here, sure, I'll take my profits, because there's definitely a world where we do get here and price comes straight back down, and I might be interested to sell it back down as well. Things look good. But if pound NZD is going to make that breakout, there's a good chance pound Aussie is going to follow, and maybe pound Aussie is going to do something similar back to the high as well. And because I've got a good entry down here, I don't want to pass up that opportunity. I want to try and hold some positions for that bigger move if it was to happen. So I'm going to keep a close eye to see how we do develop around this area. Still a long way to go, probably about halfway. So there's nothing I'm looking to do today. Still got a long way to go, but looking good so far. And Odyssey Chef, I'm also in this long position. This one seems to just be dancing around my entry. Showing some signs of momentum, but nothing really stuck, and we keep kind of just flopping around. And the key thing with this trade is price staying above resistance here, turn support. This is where I got the entry last week, Thursday. Actually, yeah, a week ago today. And yeah, price has been dancing around my entry. But the key thing is I do like the fact that we're trading outside of this level, because effectively Aussie CHF was ranging here. That's what price was doing. And then effectively we got the breakout there. So as long as that breakout stays true and we don't start doing something like this, I will remain in the position. If we do something like that, I'll call it quits, get out of the trade early, take the loss there. The benefit is it probably will be a reduced loss, so not the full loss that I originally planned for. And then if things look good again, maybe price just puts a higher low and we start developing some momentum, I'll get back in the trade and see if we can take it back to highs. But the overall plan for Aussie CHF is a push back into this area of supply. Really aggressive drop from here at the start of the year, well, around April. And I do think price is likely to recover and test that same area again. We are coming from all-time lows here. And the way I see it, we had a push. This looks like a pullback to me for some more upside. So I am banking on a lot more upside for Aussie Swiss. Not quite seeing the momentum that I was expecting to see. So I'm going to stay very watchful over the trade. I am counter trend. If we zoom out to the higher time frames, you can see how bearish everything is looking. So I have to be a bit careful with this trade and not try and force it, because maybe price does want to see some new lows first. But the way it's looking right now, I like the fact that we're still above support. So that's still keeping me in the position. Okay, where was I? What's up, Tashi? Good morning. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Yusuf, good morning. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. If I'm in trade, then it's normally around 11:30. Oh, okay. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. But yeah, that would not be easy to be locked in for 4 hours. Yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. Hope you're well as well. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, pound is very, very good. Pound is very, very good. Looking very, very strong this morning. Probably, arguably, the strongest currency, maybe. Off the top of my head, I think pound probably is. Thoughts on Euro and G on the 15? Okay, Yusuf, we can take a look, no problem. I'm guessing Yusuf was on Bashi's stream. Whole 30 minutes. Anyway, let's take a look at Euro USD. So, yeah, interesting stuff with Euro. Is that on the 15-minute chart? Okay, in the 15-minute chart. So, yeah, from a 4-hour perspective for Euro, I am keeping a close eye on this one because I still do like the sells, as I've been talking all week about it. Same thing with the DXY. So, this is what I'm looking at from a 4-hour perspective, which is different from the 15. But I'm looking at these lower highs, one over there, second over there, and I'm anticipating potentially a third to form, which would give us a big drop. I've marked out this level as being an initial target for that trade, and this being maybe a secondary target, which is the previous swing low. So this is coming to an area which we could sell off. And we did have a pretty aggressive move this morning. If I drop to the 15, things still look bullish in the 15. Of course, we had a lovely retest over here last week, I believe, or was that this Monday, the 11th? Is that this Monday? I think that might be this Monday. Yeah, so this was this week. Lovely retest of that area, which actually gave us the continuation back to highs in hindsight. We had a pretty aggressive move down. I did speak about the retest of this area here as a nice place for a buy, which price did bounce from, but didn't quite have enough energy to see a continuation back to the high. I did suggest that be careful with the buys there as well, because we are trading to that level of supply. But there was a nice reaction there. Didn't quite get back to highs, unfortunately. And now prices had a deeper push back down. We are still trading in this area, so possibly we could still see a rally from there. Would I be looking for that? Probably not, to be honest. With how we retrace, because the idea yesterday was the fact that we had all this momentum, and I was basically just looking for that momentum to continue. Now that momentum has been lost, we were quite flat and broke quite aggressively to the downside. I wouldn't probably bank on this being a high or low to take us back to highs. It could be, of course, but I wouldn't bank on that. Yeah, I quite like... I was going to say I quite like the shorts if we were to come back and retest this area, but I would be quite critical of those shorts, because I would say momentum is still with the buys here. So I would be quite watchful in terms of, I want to see really good aggressive rejections here before jumping into a trade. And in terms of targets, I wouldn't be too stingy with them either. If price can get back to lows, I think that would be a good target to have. Yes, we could go further, but if I'm seeing signs of reversal at that low, I'll be very happy to call it quits. But yeah, on the 15, we still do have a bullish trend, but it's a quite relaxed bullish trend. It's not like an aggressive one like this. It's seeing pretty big moves, pretty big pullbacks. So it's a trend which you can probably take some counter trend positions and be pretty fine with, and not worry too much. Hence why I like the shorts there as well. But yeah, I would like price to pull back a little bit deeper. We've got a makeshift trend line here. That's kind of the vicinity where I'd want the pullback to be before maybe we talk about buys again. So in the meantime, with the way we broke to the downside with all that momentum, I quite like the shorts coming back into this area. Nice brief consolidation will be acting like a level of supply. And of course, the retest of some price support there would be a nice confluence to the trade. So there could be some upside from this area for euro, as we are trading a nice area of demand. But yeah, I'm not quite convinced about a continuation just yet. I still kind of like the sells here, especially with the fact that we're forming these lower highs. So that's kind of how I see euro for now. Bit more counter trends, bit more short term. I wouldn't necessarily bank on a crazy move down. Just trying to pick the highs here and see if we can take it back into the lows, and then we'll go from there and analyze again. But yeah, euro, I would still be bullish on this one. But I do think we can probably squeeze out some shorts, depending if we can see a healthy rejection around 1.17. In terms of pound USD, that's of course been looking very, very bullish. It is trading at some major highs here, so I would be quite cautious of that. I did speak about the pullback and a retest of this area, but it looks like pound was just way too bullish for that to happen yesterday. Now it looks to me that price is creating another consolidation as we do approach resistance. So pound USD, I'd kind of relax and pause right now just to see what price does give us, because this is a pretty significant level of resistance. Last time we were here, that's a pretty aggressive move down. Possibly we could see something, I wouldn't say similar, but we could see another push down from that area. Even if price does want to go higher, we might push down first before buying. So I wouldn't be looking to do anything here in terms of trying to short or trying to long. I'll kind of just wait to see what we do within this consolidation. Does price break strongly to the upside? Well, that changes the game. Then I'll be talking about this opportunity. If price does break convincingly to the downside, similar to euro, there might be some shorts to take advantage of, a bit more of a counter trend play, but it makes sense based on where we're coming from, especially if you can see a strong breakout, a retest. There might be some selling opportunities, maybe at least back into this area, and then maybe we speak about some buys later on. So yeah, pound USD trading at a very interesting area, major resistance. So I would kind of just be quite cautious and just waiting to see what the next move is, not trying to call tops or anything. At the moment, it does look like to me we're struggling to break resistance. So if we can see something like this, I think the shorts could look really good, and we can get a similar opportunity to what euro's doing. But on the flip side, if pound USD stays strong and we see a healthy breakout and the trend's in full flow again, then of course simply just looking for the next pullback and trying to continue that trend. And of course, this was resistance, but hopefully it should be acting as support next. So that could help the buys out as well. But yeah, pound, I would just pause. Not quite seeing a concrete opportunity just yet. I'm kind of debating different opportunities. I'm going to wait for price to give me a bit more information. As for euro, I do like the shorts there. Bit more kind of counter trend, short term play, but I think it makes sense. And then yeah, maybe some buys could develop later on, but also don't forget that we are trading in the supply area as well. So that's kind of adding a factor to the trade too. So yeah, I would be watchful over that for euro. So yeah, hopefully that made sense for Euro USD. Have you got into a Euro trade in the 4 hour? There was a big red candle. Yeah, I was debating it, but it wasn't quite enough for me to take the trade. I like what we're seeing. We're seeing more rejection, but not enough for me to jump into the position. We are quite corrective, which is great. We are seeing this kind of corrective push higher, and of course we've come back into that consolidation. It was a nice aggressive close there, but not enough to trigger me into a trade based on what I'm seeing. To me, this looks like price just having another dip within this channel, and we could very much see another bullish leg to the upside. So if we can maybe push up again, maybe put some equal highs in and see another rejection, maybe even a close below that counter trend line, that could be a very nice entry for me. Stops above the high, targets into there, and then targets into there. So I'm seeing the start of potentially an idea there for euro. Yes, there was a nice bearish candle this morning, but not enough for me to get excited for the swing I'm looking for. It might mean a bit more downside, but until maybe a double top does start to form, or like I said, a break of the counter trend line, I'm not quite interested just yet. And also taking a look at the DXY, which I like looking, simultaneously with the euro and with the dollar. I'm not seeing any convincing behavior with the DXY that tells me that we're about to rally here. So that's another kind of red flag for me with selling Euro USD as of right now. So maybe if USD can start to show a bit more strength, maybe that will help out euro. And if USD looks like it's about to turn, and then euro looks like it's about to turn, then yeah, maybe that's when I do click the trigger. But not quite yet, though. Not quite yet. Not seeing what I want to see on the dollar just yet. Euro, yes, starting to take shapes. Some other USD pairs showing some signs as well, but not quite set for me yet. Yeah, I would agree. GDP was over 1.2, over 1 over the forecast. Okay, so that's definitely contributing to pound then. Hey, well done, Bash. Well done, Yusuf. Showing some support to Bashi there. And yeah, guys, make sure you check out Bashi's stream as well. If you're interested in the lower time frames and 5 minute, 1 minute, I think 15 minute as well. Bashi's got some content coming your way. Hey, appreciate it, Bashi. Thank you. If you guys are enjoying the stream, please be sure to like, subscribe, share with your friends, and of course, feel free to drop comments, ask questions as well. It does help the engagement with the chat, so I do really appreciate it. No problem, Yusuf. Happy to help. And guys, also I will be doing a what's it called again? It's not a stream, is it a stream? I forget, on Twitter, the kind of chat thing on Twitter. I forget, it might be like a stream or something like that. But I'll be doing like a discussion with a bunch of people later this evening, around 6 p.m. UK time, 5 p.m. UTC, about Zenthrex, about the project we're working on, about the future of it, what's to come, what's already available to check out, and what the project involves. So if you are curious to learn more about the project, about AI and trading, where trading could be heading in the next 5 to 10 years, especially with AI coming in and decentralization, I do recommend to check out that Twitter space, that Twitter talk we'll do later this evening. I will post the link in the Telegram so you guys can check it out and listen if you want to. That'll be later today, 6 p.m. UK time, 5 p.m. UTC. Okay, Bash. I checked out the stream. It looked pretty good. So yeah, anyone on the lower time frames, I do recommend it. Rifat, welcome to the stream. Welcome. Hope you're doing good. Yeah, exactly. And also, Bashi's big on psychology as well. So if you definitely want to learn a thing or two in that department, I do recommend it as well. But keeping a close eye on these USD pairs, because I do think there's something there. I do think dollar can turn and potentially become bullish. Not quite seeing the signs of it just yet, and we may still fall. But again, I'm not really interested in the shorts. I'm very much, I have my bias in the market based on a set of rules, or at least market structure anyway. And I kind of see that out to the end. So I said I've been bullish on the dollar basically since this bullish leg has come into play. I've been looking for a higher low for something like this to happen. If, of course, price does continue lower and ends up breaking structure, I'll hold my hands up, walk away. Maybe there wasn't a trade there to begin with. But since that hasn't happened yet, price is still slowing down, showing some signs of support forming. The idea of the buys is still a possibility. Not looking very likely at the moment, but I'm going to keep a close eye on that. Unlike what I'm seeing with the other USD pairs as well, Aussie dollar looking pretty bearish, although I think Aussie has been quite weak, which has maybe helped this out a little bit more than USD being strong. But I'm seeing some characteristics that potentially a top could be forming. Lovely bearish leg. Potentially this could be a pullback for some more downside. I'll be keeping a close eye on that. New Zealand dollar, I'm not quite sold on that, but it looks to me that, again, potentially lower high could be forming there as well. I do prefer Aussie to New Zealand dollar, but it looks to me that this is a corrective leg for price to potentially put another lower high in, as we've been doing previously, with one high over there and a second high over there. Perhaps a third could be forming. Dollar CHF, I'm not quite sold on either. I was long on this one earlier, and I did close the position at a loss around here for about 0.6 minus 0.6 R, so it wasn't a full loss. Luckily got out a bit earlier. But with this one, I'm not quite convinced with the buys as of right now. We're kind of forming a larger consolidation. I mean, we are still finding support, which is a good thing, but I'm not quite convinced about this move just yet. So I'm kind of taking a bit of a back seat with dollar CHF. But we are, I would say, just about still holding on to this bullish, onto this support level. So I'm very interested to see how dollar CHF does start to develop. But again, I think we're all kind of really relying on the DXY seeing some upside, which at the moment we're not seeing. So it's a possibility, but not quite there yet. Can you post a link here? I don't think so. YouTube doesn't allow that anymore. No problem, Bashi. No problem. I don't trade ICT, unfortunately, Riffrat. I mean, again, ask any questions. I'll be happy to answer, but I do not trade ICT, so not the best person to ask on that topic. Gold, okay, yes, we can take a look at gold as well. Anton, when you're back to South Africa, did I tell you I was going back to South Africa? Bit of a random question, though. I haven't planned about going to South Africa, although I do want to go back to South Africa. I did have a good time there. So that definitely is something in the works, but yeah, I've not planned that. Twitter link, yeah, I'll put it in the Telegram after I finish the stream. Actually, no, I could just do it now, to be fair. I'll just do it now. Okay, yeah, I put it in the Telegram. I was going to do it after the stream, but I'll just do it now. So yeah, that link it's not live yet. It'll be live 6 p.m. UK time, 5 p.m. UTC. So if you're interested to learn a bit more about Zentrix, about the project and what's to come, I recommend giving that a listen. Also learning a bit more about AI and decentralization. So if you're interested, check it out. The link is in the Telegram, which is also the link to the Telegrams in the description below. Okay, yeah, I'll go through gold for you. Bashi, where are you from originally? Well, half Nigerian, half. That's awkward. Half Nigerian, a quarter Zambian, and a quarter Polish. An interesting mix, I know. Almost forgot where I was for a second. Okay, let me go through gold. So, yeah, gold, not much to talk about here. Let me know if you do have any ideas for gold, or you're on the lower time frames and you're looking at an idea, let me know. But yeah, with gold, I don't see much of an opportunity here, to be honest. I see a market that is just range bound. It has been range bound for quite some time, and I'm not seeing much of an opportunity. As I've discussed, selling at the highs, buying at the lows, although that seems pretty kind of basic, but it's the best place to work in a range. Literally, the trade I'm in on pound Aussie is literally the same idea. Price was ranging in this area. Price start to consolidate there. Nice break to the upside. Took the buy there. You know, I'm not looking to try and solve anything crazy. If the market is going to continue to range, then you're expecting it to bounce at the low and reject the high. And if it does reject well, that's a decent trade to take. You're pretty confident 50%, 60% of the time, if you're seeing a healthy rejection at the low, price is probably going to make a swing in the opposite direction. It might not get all the way to the end, but you probably has a good chance of seeing an initial swing. And that's the same logic with gold. That if price can get back to the high or the low, see a healthy rejection, there's a good chance we can see a push higher. Again, maybe price doesn't make a push all the way to the high, but at least the 50% would be a logical place to target. So if I can get the fib out, mark on the 50%, that could be your first target for the trade. Let's say you get a short at the high, target the 50% of the 50% of the range, book some profits there, maybe reduce risk, and then leave the rest to run back to the low. Maybe it doesn't, maybe it does. You don't necessarily have to bank on the full win there. But gold, I'm not seeing much of an opportunity. Intraday, this looks like a lot of noise to me. So I wouldn't try and suss price action out there. I'll just leave it alone. That'll give me a headache. But if we can make a push back to 34.30, 34.40 roughly, or make a push to 32.60, that's where I'll be happy to start to investigate price action. Let's see what type of rejection we're getting. And from there, I think there could be a nice buy opportunity or a sell opportunity, of course. But in the middle, that's a little bit too complicated for me. Again, sometimes the obvious trade is the best trade. Don't have to, if you find yourself kind of looking at the market too hard, there's probably not much of an opportunity there to begin with. We buy a ticket for you. Just start a little GoFundMe, get me to South Africa. But no, South Africa is a beautiful country. When I went to Cape Town, had a great time. Scenery was amazing. So yeah, had a good time. I should definitely go back to SA. Don't see the Polish. Yeah, it's only a quarter Polish. So yeah, it's not obvious, but it's there, all right. It is there. No problem, Rifat. Hope I'm saying the name correctly. But happy to help. Pound yen. Okay, James, we can take a look at that. No problem. Yusuf, GJ on the 15-2. Okay, nice. We can take a look at that. Okay, so GJ, yeah, the yen pairs looking interesting, aren't they? We saw a bit of a move down for the yen pairs. Pound yen, not so much, because of course the pound strength is not having that. But we can get through some other yen pairs. CAD yen had a big drop. New Zealand yen had a big drop. Off the top of my head, I think dollar yen had a big drop as well. So yeah, the yen pairs looking a little bit interesting. Pound yen did have a bit of rejection. A couple bearish candles there, but not much of one. And we've got pound strength to think of that. But again, if you look at the higher time frames, look where we are trading. Actually, if I stick to the daily chart, look where we are trading. We're trading at very significant levels. So this is where it's make or break with pound yen. If price does clear this well, I'm going to be very, very bullish for the foreseeable future with pound yen. As I spoke yesterday, if price does clear this well, the next target I see is all the way up here at 207. So if we clear that well, that pretty much sets me up bullish until I see maybe price close back below. So if that was to happen, of course, I'd reinvestigate my bias. But if price can stay above that, I'll just be looking for buying opportunities all the way up to 207, hopefully. But we're not quite there yet. Price is still rejecting this area, still finding resistance here. So we're not quite there yet. And for all we know, price might still reject this and still could head a lot lower as well. So pound yen, I'm not really seeing much of an opportunity, to be honest. Naturally, of course, since we're at resistance, looking to short at the highs makes sense. I just have the expectation that price is going to break higher, so I'm not really interested with the shorts. Let's say if price comes back there again and starts to reject it well, again, I think that's a nice trade to get into. But I wouldn't have high hopes with how far I'm looking to push that trade. I think maybe there is a world where we could probably see a push maybe towards this area. Maybe even back to here to be potentially. That would be a pretty decent move. But if price can continue to respect this level, shorts do look good. Shorts do look good. If, of course, we see the breakout, then we can speak about the buys, but we're not quite there yet. So if you're interested with pound yen, especially like the 4-hour chart, maybe hourly as well, I'll just be keeping a close eye at this area, looking for rejection and trying to enter some shorts based on that. And then I'll be quite watchful over the trade in terms of monitoring it. If momentum looks good, I'll be happy to stay in the trade. If I start to see some momentum shifts and maybe a strong candle closing against me and some wicks forming, I'll close the trade early and look for re-entries if things look good again. And of course, if price does break through, we'll start talking about hopefully a break and retest of this area. But for pound yen on the 4-hour chart, just looking to see how we operate here. I mean, that's a nice entry candle there. When was that? That closed. Okay, that closed on the daily candle 10 a.m. yesterday. So that would have been a nice entry. But of course, I'll be watching to see how momentum does pick up. Right now, I would still be in that position. Bears to me still look like they're in charge. But we'll be quite watchful of that. In terms of the 15-minute chart, nice sell-off. 15-minute chart, I'll probably be looking at this area for a short. Because, of course, we've been pretty bullish, creating higher highs and higher lows. And, of course, this is our big break of structure. Seeing quite a lot of strength in that bearish move. So the plan would be, can we look for a pullback and a continuation of that? So 50-minute chart, I quite like the shorts. Of course, we know that price is rejecting a pretty big level as well. So that kind of adds to the trade. But this was a pretty convincing sell. Pretty convincing sell. Momentum looked really strong. Strong break of support. Cleared a lot of lows here to our left. So it's a pretty convincing move. So the plan would be, especially on the 15, just looking for a pullback and a continuation of that bearish leg. So that would be my interest. A retest of that support level. Very commanding break. We haven't come back for a retest. So that would be a nice fresh level to short from. And if things look good, target's back at the low and we'll go from there. Again, I'm not expecting crazy moves down for pound yen, but based on the price action we're seeing, I do think shorts are the best bet here for pound yen, especially on the 15 as well. I'd probably argue that's the better time frame to trade on. So yeah, going forward with pound yen, I do think some shorts look good. And I do think we can probably see a little bit more downside, but long term I'm still pretty bullish. So that's kind of what I'm gearing up for. But yeah, the end pairs have been quite interesting. Big sells this, well, yeah, kind of this morning, starting from last night. Bro, GD today, difficult to decipher. Yeah, I mean, I'm still bullish long term, so I'm not quite convinced with the shorts. But I do think in the moment, especially in the lower time frames, there might still be another push lower. Okay, you're full Pakistani. Nothing interesting. Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say, but no, just full Pakistani. Not much going on there, to be honest. I think the Polish side is the wild card for me. That is the wild card. Ethereum and oil. Okay, we can take a look at that as well. Hopefully that made sense on GJ in the 15-minute, by the way. If not, let me know. Ethereum, last time we had a look at this one, was looking very, very bullish, and that is still very much the case. And yeah, it looks, oh, okay, I thought we were at 5K there for a second. Not quite, but the all-time highs look like they are being, looks like they're about to be taken out. So Ethereum is looking very, very bullish. I think it's only a matter of time before we do sweep the highs and probably hit 5K, the next big psychological level for Ethereum, the next all-time high. And then we go from there for Ethereum, because once we pass the all-time highs, it's anybody's game, it's anyone's guess. You know, how far can we go? If I look at the previous bull run for Ethereum, you know, the last time we took out some all-time highs, you know, it was a pretty ginormous move. Of course, this was when we had that crazy move back in 2021 when crypto was flying. You know, arguably, if we're going to see a similar breakout, that probably could take us to 10K potentially, or even higher. So there's a lot of upside, I would say, with Ethereum. I'm quite bullish across the board. But again, would I be buying on the breakout? No, not really. In terms of like a trading opportunity, it would be nice for a retest of this area, but that's not really how Ethereum or crypto works. Sometimes when momentum picks up, we don't really have these big pullbacks. If it's an FX pair, then yeah, I think that's a logical place to look for a buy. Ethereum, I don't really see the likelihood of us getting back there. We could do, again, never say never. But I think if we take up these highs, we're probably going to see price continue and probably not look back for some time. So I'm pretty bullish here on Ethereum, I must say. I think intraday some opportunities could look good. Maybe some smaller pullbacks, taking advantage of some slight dips intraday. I think that's probably where you're going to find your success. I like this for a deep pullback. If price was to get here, that would be a nice place for a buy as well. So I would say keep an eye on that too. Yeah, it's just whether price will get there or not. I'm not too sure about that. But yeah, Ethereum looking very bullish, about to take out all-time highs. I wouldn't say there's much to do with this one apart from looking to buy it. If you can find some intraday pullbacks, that's great. If we do see a deeper pullback, even better. But yeah, it's just a waiting game to see if we can actually get that deeper pullback. Okay, so oil. Last time I looked at oil, we're looking pretty bearish. Is that still the case? No, we pull back a little bit. I mean, we are still looking bearish, but it's a very corrective move here. So it's not like we are very bearish. It's just kind of a corrective push. So, I mean, the key thing with oil is that we are trading back underneath this area, which for me was a pretty key characteristic in terms of my bullish bias. If price could hold support here, I would stay bullish, looking for a push higher. But the fact is we did break through, which is not a good sign for the buyers, I must say. I'm actually looking to see if price can make a move all the way back down here, which would take us back to 56. So I'm pretty bearish on oil, especially with this breakout. The only thing I want to say is that this breakout isn't really convincing. It's not like price did something like this with a commanding candle breaking through the zone. It's a very corrective, half-hearted breakout, which is not great. Doesn't mean that it's going to be a fake out or it's going to break back in, but I like my breakouts with force, with momentum, then it gives me a lot more confidence to look for pullbacks and continuations of that. Again, not to say that they don't give breakouts either, or they're going to be perfect, but I can be a lot more trustworthy if the momentum is quite strong, rather than if it's quite weak. And I would argue that this breakout is a very, very weak one as well. So as I said yesterday, I'm kind of waiting for some more powerful momentum to come into play before I do start to talk about some pullbacks and some shorts for oil. If price does break back in, well, we're back at square one again, and there could be some nice buys off the back of that, because then this would just be a big fake out, and then I'll be talking more about the buying opportunities. But of course, we're not there yet, so I'm going to keep that in the back of our minds for now. If that was to happen, we can talk about some buys, but for now, I'm just kind of looking for some more downside and then some pullbacks, maybe to come back and retest some support here, maybe even retest this structure all the way up there as well. So oil, I am bearish. I just want to see more momentum, especially after such a big move down. Now it looks like we're quite tired and running out of steam, so perhaps some buys coming into play, especially with the wicks to the downside here, which is, again, is not a good sign. You want to see, you know, strong closures, you want to see momentum. Not really seeing any evidence of that. So yeah, if oil can kind of pick it up a little bit, see some more strength on the way down, yep, I think pullbacks look really good. Just simply break and retest opportunities, and hopefully we can take that lower. As I said, I got targets down here around 55, 56, which I do still see price heading towards. So that is the plan for oil. Expecting more downside. Only in the instance we do break above this area would I switch back to being bullish. But for now, I don't see that as a likely move. So yeah, pretty bearish for oil, and that's probably one of the reasons why CAD's been pretty bearish as well. Looking at CAD pairs across the board, New Zealand CAD's been on the way up. A bit of a reaction to the downside now because, well, CAD's kind of relaxing a little bit, but I think NZD is quite weak at the moment, and I think Aussie's quite weak as well. But for the most part, they've been pretty bullish. Pound CAD's been flying. Of course, pound strength there, but CAD being weak too, and Euro CAD's been semi-flying as well. Nice push to the upside there too. But speaking on the yen pairs, like I said, we saw some interesting behavior. Really strong push to the downside there for CAD yen. If we quickly flick through some of the yen pairs, Euro yen, pretty meaningful move down. Dollar yen, pretty meaningful move down. Aussie yen, same situation. New Zealand yen as well. And it's probably one of the bigger moves. And then Swiss yen, yeah, a little bit of a move down there. But the key thing is that yen strength to come back into the market. And I have a quick look at the yen basket. You can see some evidence of that happening there as well. So what is the gameplay here with the yen? Is this upside momentum meaning business, or is this just another move up for us to move down? What I will say is, though, that the yen basket isn't particularly clear cut right now. I would say we're kind of just fluctuating. Yes, this is some meaningful momentum, and it could just be a higher low. You know, this is our last impulsive up move. This could just be the higher low, the next pullback of that bullish leg, and perhaps we do see another push to the upside like so. That could be the case. I could equally see us doing something like this as well, and that kind of just ties into the idea of us kind of just being in a bit of a range, and that's why I kind of deem price to be in. So I'm not getting too carried away with this bullish momentum, just because it's just a very choppy market. If we can see a convincing move to the upside, well, that does change things. We are still operating within this kind of counter trend line, and potentially a strong break of that could be the sign to say, okay, yen strength is here. We're not messing around. We'll expect more of it, and that could be, you know, some opportunity that could lead to some opportunities on shorting some of the yen pairs, going into probably next week. So with the yen, I'm kind of just umming and ahhing right now. It looks as if momentum's coming back into play, but until we probably see a strong break of this counter trend line and maybe another strong daily close, I'm not going to get too carried away with the momentum we're seeing. If I head over to CAD yen, if I can spell it correctly, if I head over to CAD yen, I know we're seeing some downside momentum now, But yeah, I'm not getting too carried away with the shorts just yet. I can still see a possibility that we do form a higher low and still rally. We still are putting in these higher lows, 1, 2, 3. Could we be putting in a fourth? I could see a world where that happens as well. So despite the momentum we're seeing intraday, it doesn't really change too much in terms of the bigger picture with CAD Yen, maybe some of the other yen pairs. We could still be very much forming higher lows. I like this area of demand. I can see potentially price tapping into that area before continuing higher. Maybe if I see a more convincing drop, something like this, that maybe goes and potentially violate structure there as well. Now, of course, that'll be a strong sign to me to say, okay, the bears do mean business. Are we expecting a lower high to form? And very much a continuation. So if something like that was to happen, I'll be very much bearish and probably expecting a push back to the lows here. So that would really set the bias for me. And at that point as well, we probably would have that big break of structure, that big break of the counter trend line on the yen basket as well. So if you were to see something like that, give CAD Yen a strong push down, I'll just be looking for the continuations. If I go take a look at, let's say, dollar yen, I'm not quite convinced with the shorts either. I still like the buying opportunities at these areas, which I've been mentioning kind of all week. I still think these are some nice areas to pick up some longs, especially if USD can gain some strength. Nothing quite here yet. Yes, we're trading at that area, but not really seeing much of a reaction. Even if I drop to the hourly chart, not much of a reaction there. So I would keep an eye to see how we do develop. Maybe if we can consolidate and see a strong close, that's something I'll be looking at. And then hopefully we can take some buys off the back of that. And again, same from this area as well. Nice area of demand, tap into that. I think that's a smart place for a buy. So the yen pairs, I can still see upside potential unless we see some convincing behavior from the yen basket. Like I said, the break of the counter trend line, then that will kind of maybe make me rethink my bias. But for now, still looking at something like that for dollar yen, especially if we do see some DXY strength come into the market. If I look at Aussie yen looks like it's pushing down, perhaps seeing another lower high in this area. And again, if I expand to the higher time frames for Aussie yen, I'm still very much looking at this bearish structure here. Lower lows, lower highs, and then suddenly higher highs and higher lows. I still very much fancy that happening longer term. So yes, we're looking pretty bearish here, but I still think there's a good chance of a higher low forming to take us back up again. I think this could just be a big correction, and we might be on our way next swing. So there might be some more downside for now, which is great, but I'm not having like a longer term bearish bias. No problem, Yusuf, happy to help. Follow the trend, what is up? Hola, hope you are doing good. How's trades going? Not too bad. Aussie Chef still kind of flirting with my entry at the moment, so not a lot to report on with that one. If we do end up breaking through support here, I'll pull the plug on the trade and just take the loss on that position. If we do something like that with a strong close, especially because all of this has been quite corrective. I entered the trade with the hopes that momentum will pick up and we'll see some more upside. I looked at one point we were going to see that, but we have been quite flat. So I'm giving the trade the benefit of the doubt to see if we can hold support, because this is the range we've been in for a while. We consolidated, finally saw a breakout, so I was expecting to see more momentum there, but it looks to me that we've gone a little bit flat here. So yeah, if I do see a strong break here, I'll just close the trade early, probably maybe for like a 0.5R loss. Of course, better than the full loss, but we'll take the L on that one if it do break to the downside. But of course, if we do respect support, which I'm still expecting to do so, then hopefully we can see that momentum come into play. Pound Aussie's looking pretty good though. Nice momentum in that one this morning. Of course, pound being very strong, definitely helping me out. And I think some Aussie weaknesses helping me out as well. I have trailed stops to this area here. My original stop loss was down here, but I have trailed it to this area here, just below the low, to give me a bit of wiggle room. But momentum's looking pretty good. Again, nothing crazy with this position, just looking to buy the low of this range essentially. well, on the breakout, after the breakout, and then I'm expecting a push back to the high of the range. So with this one looking good in some profit, stops trail underneath that low, so only minimal risk on the position now. And yeah, hopefully we can pick up some momentum. I'm not really looking to take any positions off until we get to the highs here. So the only way I would get out of this trade really is if price does hit my trading stop loss. But if we create some more structure, again, I'll start to trade it along the way. Then if we can get there, close some positions hopefully. And I'll leave some positions for potentially a breakout as well. I think there might be a breakout on the cards because I'm looking at what pound entity is doing. It looks to me that pound entity is breaking out of this range. And since pound entity and pound Aussie are very similar pairs, maybe pound Aussie has a breakout as well. So that's just me thinking kind of ahead. But well, we'll see at the time what happens. So yeah, those are the two positions I'm in at the moment. And yeah, we'll see what we can get going afterwards. What's up, D-Mart? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Anela, hope I'm saying that name correctly. Welcome to the stream. Glad to have you. But yeah, I mean, welcome. We just talk pretty much everything trading here, to be honest. If you have any markets you want me to take a look at, let me know. I'm happy to discuss and go through them. If I'm any trades, I'll share. If I do have any pairs on my watch list, I'll share. Pretty much any ideas I've got coming up, I'll share with you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the chat. And yeah, we'll have a good time. Oh, just hit the mic there. Hope I haven't deafened anyone. And of course, as Bashi just commented there, like, share, and subscribe if you guys are enjoying the stream. Really do appreciate that. And of course, drop any questions. I'll be happy to answer them. But thank you, Bashi, for reminding us there. Potentially a drop on gold after dropping structure intraday and sweep of 33.32 lows, get some sleep and head back up. It's kind of messy, I know. Yeah, I was literally just berating the price action gold earlier in the stream. Follow the trend. Not a big fan of gold, I must say. As you said, it is quite choppy, so I haven't really been focusing on gold too much, to be honest. But I can take a look at that idea. I know you spoke about some sweeps. Was it last? I think it was just before CPI, wasn't? CPI, which played up pretty well. I mean, it didn't see a ginormous move, but it did take out the lows and it did see some upside. So he did call the kind of the last up move there for gold. Good morning, Michelle. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're good. First time here from Bahamas. Wicked. Now, Bahamas was a place I definitely need to visit. But yeah, welcome to the stream. Any pairs you're looking at, feel free to drop it in the chat and we can discuss. If you have any kind of opportunities you're looking at, any trades you want to share, or have any questions, drop it in the chat and I'll be sure to answer them. Yusuf, I have a question on EU. I understand what you're looking for to enter the trade. My question has something to do with the channel. Would you say there is momentum only after candles close below the channel? Good question. Again, trading is nothing about absolutes. Trading is always about probability. So with Euro USD, if you break out of the channel, you can be a lot more confident that there's momentum and we're likely to continue to sell off. So if you were to see, let's say, a candle close like this, well, you're a lot more confident that there's momentum there, and the probability of us continuing going lower is a lot higher versus taking some entries here, which the momentum isn't quite there yet because, of course, you haven't got the breakout. But the benefits of entering here is that you got a much better entry, probably have a tighter risk to reward. So if the trade does play out, you're going to be maximizing your return on the position. The cons, though, is that you're entering before kind of momentum has really confirmed itself. So, of course, you're more prone to potentially getting stopped out. more prone to getting into the trade a bit too early. So in terms of waiting for the break of the channel, it's not necessarily the right or wrong thing to do. It's just you can be a lot more assured that momentum has arrived. We've broken outside of this ascending channel. There's a stronger likelihood that the market's about to fall versus trying to anticipate the high here. So again, it's just about kind of weighing up your options and deciding which one you want to pick essentially. This again, a bit more risky. You're entering a little bit earlier, not necessarily early, just earlier. But you're entering before the momentum has really come into play. So you're kind of banking on this being the high, you having a tight stop loss, maximizing your risk to reward. If it does play out, you look like a genius and you're probably walking away with a pretty decent return on that position. Waiting for the break of the counter trend line is kind of the more assured entry, because you can say that, okay, momentum is really here. I'm seeing price break out of an area, break out of the channel. So the likelihood of price falling from there is a lot higher. But of course, you're entering a lot later. And sometimes your risk to reward can be quite skewed, especially if you're going to put a stop loss above here. Well, you're not looking at a particularly great risk to reward back into the low. So that's the negatives with waiting for the breakout. But you can be more assured that you're entering with a good likelihood that price does continue in your favor. So you probably would have a high win rate on average as well. So it's basically picking your poison, to be honest, Yusuf. To answer your question in terms of momentum, yes, breaking out the channel will confirm momentum's well and truly there. Entering before that, you kind of betting that momentum will come later. So it's essentially kind of entering before the parties arrived, entering so you can get a better risk reward in the position. It'll pay off if it does play out, but you probably will incur a bit more losses. So again, not right or wrong thing to do, because they both have their positions in the market. Sometimes I will go for the more aggressive trade here, and sometimes I will go for a bit more conservative trade, kind of waiting for a bit more development and waiting for the later entry. It really depends on the position. When it's like this for Euro, which is a bit counter trend, and I know that the trend is still very much to the upside, dollar's still looking pretty weak. Yeah, I think there's a good possibility we could see a continuation higher there. But, I am going to be a bit more cautious with selling Euro USD, since it's not really pro trend. I'm trying to take a somewhat of a reversal here. But yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, exactly. Being chatty helps the algo. And Bashi is good at that, as we can all see. I'm joking. No problem. Happy to help. Was Tuesday, yeah, got about 50 pips there. Yeah, nice move. Yeah, I remember that one. But yeah, besides from that, I'm not a big fan of gold. I know you're loving the price action for gold at the moment, follow the trend, but yeah, I'm very much on the opposite side of that. I'm not loving the price action at all. I've marked on my high, I've marked on my low, and those are the areas which I'm fairly keen to look for opportunities. Again, it's not even at the top of my watch list, to be honest. Even if price does get there, there's a few other pairs which I like a bit more than gold. But if I see a healthy rejection, I'll happily take a short there, to be honest, and I'll happily take a long here. But yeah, in the meantime, it is just a little bit back and forth. You talked about price sweeping some lows at 33, 32, which I assume is the low here. So you're looking to see if price can push past that and then hopefully catch some buys afterwards. Is that the plan? Basically what you spoke of early in the week, really. The push down here, then the move up. Kind of looking for a repeat of that. I can see a world where that happens as well. Again, not my favorite opportunity just because of how choppy things are. So I'll be staying away. But yeah, essentially looking at the same pattern there, no? It looks to me looking at the same idea. Trading is risk-adjusted gambling. Not really, because gambling entails you're not really doing anything logical. Gambling entails that you're kind of just betting on luck, on hope. Trading is a bit more calculated. You're betting on precise opportunities that have repeated in the past. So I wouldn't really equate trading to gambling, because I could just put a bet on a team that I think will win, and that's basically based on merit. But trading is something a bit more calculated, especially if you've got something like a systematic approach to the market, which are kind of following set rules as well, then I wouldn't equate it. Gambling's a little bit more hearsay. Trading's a bit more of a strategic approach. But again, they're not too far away, so I can see why he said that. You're welcome to the Bahamas anytime. Thank you, Michelle. I like pound yen and pound USD. Okay, we can take a look at those markets. If I missed out a pair, let me know. I feel like I might have missed out a request earlier in the chat. If that's the case, just drop it in the chat again. Sometimes I do that, so if I do miss out something, let me know. But we'll take a look at pound yen and pound USD. Pavinator, my man, welcome to the stream. Happy Thursday, right back at ya. Hope you're doing good. Aussie dollar got some got some action today. Yes, we did see a bit of a sell. Okay, you're in a position. Nice, 0.65205. Looking for a massive downturn. Yeah, I'm still looking at the same idea as well. I'm not looking to trade Aussie because I'm kind of got my hands tied with Aussie at the moment. I'm long pound Aussie and I'm long Aussie CHF. So I've got two Aussie pairs I'm kind of trading at the moment. So I don't want to kind of overdo it. But I still do have the same bias as you. I'm still looking for Aussie to drop. Again, the main thing I'm looking at is USD strength. You know, that's going to be the main orchestrator for all the USD pairs, Aussie dollar, Euro dollar, pound dollar. If they're going to drop, we're going to need to see some dollar strength. So that's kind of what I'm waiting to see. But yeah, I do agree with the move. Okay, same idea just for a scalp, but same, not a big fan of gold. Buys, however, is the best option. Yeah, I would agree as well. I would agree buys the best option. If I had to, I'd probably be looking to buy as well. Okay, so pound yen, pound USD, then we'll take a look at Aussie dollar. So pound yen, again, longer term, I quite like the opportunity for a breakout to the upside. I think there's a lot of opportunity with pound yen, especially if you can clear the highs here. I've been talking about this opportunity for a number of weeks now, but it hasn't come into play. I was talking quite a lot about the opportunity here when we were just consolidating underneath. I was hoping we were to break to the upside. We didn't get that. We got a very strong candle breaking down. Then we've pushed back into resistance again. Now we're starting to respect it as well. But I do think in due course, we'll probably break through this resistance. And then I can start speaking about a push back to the high there. And the plan is pretty simple. If we can see a convincing breakout, the plan will just be looking for pullbacks along the way. Perhaps a retest of this area, or perhaps a retest of some new form structure, which will form later down the line. But the idea will be looking for pullbacks on the way back to 207. So that's pretty much the plan there for pound yen. But we're not quite there yet. We haven't got the breakout, so I have to be quite patient. In the meantime, there might be some sells off this level. I mean, price is still respecting it pretty well. We had a pretty nice rejection yesterday. A really nice 4-hour candlestick close there, which I quite like. But because I do have that bullish bias, I'm going to be quite strict with the sells and not trying to overstay my welcome. You know, if things look good, great, remain in the trade. But if I start to see some rejection come into play, I'll be very quick to close that trade and get out of there. Again, I could be wrong. I'm not a fortune teller. Maybe price is going to reject this level, and maybe it is going to have a big drop lower. But I've got to stick with my gun, stick with my analysis until proven otherwise, really. And if price was to go and break through some lows here, then probably I wouldn't be so bullish anymore. And the plan would be some pullbacks and some shorts afterwards. But we'll get to that when that is the case. But for now, yeah, we're having a pretty good time at rejecting the highs here. So if you're not already in a short, I would suggest wait for price to get there again, and of course monitor price. If we can start to reject well again, that could form a nice entry, stops above the high, and then see how far we can go. Potentially there could be a push back into lows. If of course price does make its way back to resistance but sees a breakout this time, well, we'll be looking for buys to hopefully continue that higher. As for pound USD, which of course has been pretty bullish as well, pound of course seeing a lot of strength the past few days. This one has been looking pretty bullish. This one as well, testing some resistance to our left, 1.35862. You got a lot of resistance there to your left. Really nice big move to the downside, and now we're back at that same level again. So if price does break through this, well, I'm losing my bearish tone on pound USD. I've been pretty bearish, looking for the next lower high that hasn't been the case. The market's just been seeing a lot of bullish momentum, and of course, the strength of pound had a big part to play with that. But yeah, if we do break structure, well, that puts to bed the bearish bias, and at that point, I'll be speaking about something like this to form in the next coming days. So pound USD is kind of in a make or break area. Possibly we could respect this area and start to look pretty bearish. So I would suggest keep an eye on that. There could be some nice shorts that do come into play off this high. If we were to see a break, then yeah, I'm not looking at shorting the market anymore. I'm not too sure where I'll look for a pullback into. I mean, I like this area here. Nice range to give us that breakout. It would be nice to retest that area. I'm not too sure if we'll have a big enough pullback for that, but we can speak more about that if we do see the break of structure and then possibly a swing back to highs. So yeah, my focus really for pound is what we do here. Do we respect it or do we break through? So yeah, that's kind of my 2 pence on pound yen and pound USD. Pavinator will go through Aussie dollar next. I quite like Aussie dollar. We'll go through that one next. Michelle, past resistance becomes future support. Bang on the money. Probably the most common pattern you'll see in the markets. Yusuf, no problem, happy to help. Understand better now. Sometimes at the 15, the whole pullback is in a channel, and if I wait for the price to break the channel, the whole move would be gone. Yeah. I mean, that's the case as well. With waiting for the breakout of the channel, you're entering a lot later, so you're later in the move, and your stop loss placement might not be great. You might have a pretty big stop loss, or you might be putting it in not really like a well protected place. So that's the downside of waiting for the breakout of the channel. Yes, you can be a bit more confident that we probably will see a bit more upside once you get the breakout of the channel. But of course, you're entering late into the move. Stop loss placement might be a bit of an issue as well. Like I said, entering a little bit earlier gives you a much better risk reward. You're probably definitely a much better entry for the trade as well. You're entering before the move has really got going. But you're a bit more vulnerable to getting stopped out because the momentum you're looking for isn't quite there yet. So you will find yourself in situations where you do get stopped out because the momentum you're looking for didn't really arrive. But on the other side on the other hand, you'll find yourself in some trades where you'll catch momentum very well, and you'll see some really nice winning trades with some pretty big risk rewards as well. So you don't have to necessarily stick to one or the other. You can chop between the two depending on the situation, which is kind of what I do. But yeah, it's your choice. You can enter a little bit later, a bit more confirmation, or enter a bit earlier, a little bit less confirmation. It's kind of how you want to operate. In terms of Aussie dollar, so I've kept an eye with this one. I like the shorts. Another one that's kind of operating within an ascending channel. I quite like what I'm seeing because, again, it's looking very, very corrective. And typically when things are corrective as like this, it's normally prices getting ready to form a lower high to push lower. So again, we had a lovely push to the downside, breaking through some structure here. The plan is, can we see a lower high now? And can we see a drop back to lows and possibly back to these areas and maybe even further as well? So I quite like what I'm seeing. A really aggressive close this morning as well. Lovely wick to the upside and a really aggressive close. The only thing Aussie dollar has to deal with is similar to euro dollar, is this ascending channel, which price could push into, could potentially form another higher low, and could go and attack the highs again. But should we see a break of this counter trend line, I think that's going to be the strong sign to say that, okay, the bears are really taking charge now. Support's not holding. There's a good likelihood that we'll continue back to lows. So I would suggest that's something to keep a close eye on for Aussie dollar. But I have to say, I do like the wicks. I do like the rejection we're seeing to the upside. We have some wicks over here as well. So it's a clear sign that we're struggling to push higher, which is what you want to see in a pullback. You don't want to see price starting to gain momentum and start to pull away. Yeah, that's a bit of a red flag there. But yeah, really convincing rejection. And again, I think the main thing we're all waiting for is DXY to gain some strength, because that hasn't really shown much. It's even looking pretty bearish on the current 4-hour candle there. So I think that's the key thing we're kind of waiting for to get the USD pairs to move in that direction. If we can start to see some strength coming into play, well, that probably will be the cherry on top to get Aussie dollar really falling, and then yeah, naturally targets back at the low. So I like what I'm seeing with Aussie dollar. The potential's there. I think Aussie is a little bit weak in its own right as well, but we just kind of needing USD to be strong to really get the ball rolling. Aussie dollar is not born for sure. Had to wait a long time for some action. Yeah. Yeah, you've been talking about these shorts for a while, Pavinator. So I have to give it to you in terms of patience. Definitely ticking that box, I must say. Papaya, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Welcome. USD neutral, or, well, I would say kind of neutral now. I still do have a bullish bias, but not so much because we are looking bullish now. It's because we're in an area which I'll be looking for buys, and I'm expecting to see strength for the dollar come into play, going back into a nice area of demand. Previously, last time we were here, we saw a pretty aggressive move to the upside. So I'm expecting something similar to happen. We've been pretty corrective on the way down as well. So I'm looking to see if some strength can come into play for for the DXY, for USD. So I would say in terms of the current price action now, it is pretty neutral, because if I do scale to like the hourly chart, I would say we are quite flat here. I mean, you could probably say we are pretty bearish. I would agree with that as well. Neutral in terms of the last few hours, bearish in terms of the last couple of days. But we are trading an area which I'm starting to look for some buying opportunities. So personally, I'm bullish, looking for some buys here. I'm not interested in selling the dollar, especially in this area. And again, in terms of the price action, in terms of the moves I'm looking to take and the time frames I'm trading, I'm looking for swing trades that could last a few days, maybe a few weeks if they play out very well. So I'm not really too concerned about the minor fluctuations, about the lower time frame opportunities, because again, I'm not on the lower time frames. But from a 4-hour perspective, what I'm looking for is basically the continuation of this bullish structure to see if you can get another higher low here for perhaps another higher high. So that's my plan. That's my plan for the dollar. And yeah, I'm just waiting for signs that is going to happen. At the moment, I'm not really seeing much signs. Apart from that, we are quite corrective, which is a sign to say that, okay, the bears are starting to run out momentum. So perhaps maybe buyers could step into play. It's not giving me any big confirmations. It's just a sign that says, okay, maybe we are starting to struggle a little bit. So yeah, I'm really waiting for some convincing momentum here. Maybe a nice double bottom would be nice, actually. Something like that, and a rejection afterwards. That would be a really nice entry signal for the dollar. And of course, that could translate quite well into some shorts on euro, which is pretty much doing the exact same thing here. Really choppy on the way up. It would be nice to see us kind of maybe put another double top in and then a strong reaction. So kind of get the signal at similar times on both of them. So yeah, I'm pretty bullish on USD, waiting for opportunities in this area. I'm not seeing price action to back that up yet in terms of confirmations and actually trading that opportunity. So I'm very much on the sidelines for the dollar, but I'm only interested in buys. So I'm just biding my time, being patient, waiting to see if price action will actually give me an opportunity. If not, then I'll just stay on the sides. I'm not interested in selling. I'll just stay on the sides. If I do get something, then yeah, I'll try my best to make sure I get involved. Okay, actually I'm bullish now because it's support with the trend line. Okay, so I think you're referring to that channel there. So yeah, I mean, from an intraday perspective as well, we might see a bounce there, which could be nice, especially if we can see a nice breakout of this range here. Maybe a nice breakout like that. Could be some nice intraday buys to take up. So yeah, I can see an opportunity like that intraday as well. But yeah, dollar's been interesting. I've been focusing on a lot of USD pairs, Euro, Aussie, Dollar CHF, Dollar CAD as well. So I've been keeping an eye on all of those USD pairs. Again, I'm not looking to trade them all. I'm just looking to try and pick the best one to trade. But a lot of my focus has been around the USD pairs. Yeah, I'm still very much bullish. Still looking to try and catch a high low. And that's probably where most of my focus is right now. I'm not quite focused on the yen pairs, to be honest. So yeah, I'm not really looking to do anything there. If I am going to take a trade before the weekends, it probably would be on the dollar pair if I can see some strength coming to play. There's been some other crosses that might look okay. I think New Zealand CAD's got a big move down for it, but I'm not quite sold on this one. Looks really, really flat, so to be honest, I'll stay away. Pound entities having an interesting breakout. I feel like there could be some nice buys on a retest of this range. So this is a pair which I'll start to keep an eye on. It's not confirmed yet because I'm still waiting for this daily candle to really close and kind of really confirm to me that this breakout is the real deal. But should we break out of this high here, which looks likely, well, the next target I've got would be all the way up here. So the plan is, as long as we don't break back inside the range, as long as we don't do something like this, yeah, I'm looking for very much a retest or somewhat of a pullback somewhere to ride it back up. So I quite like the buys there with pound NZD, and it ties in pretty well to my trade in pound Aussie as well, which hopefully might be doing something similar soon as well. That would be very nice, and a breakout there as well. So pound NZD could be something I look into. CAD pairs, nothing really there. Pound CAD, no. Euro CAD, no. Aussie CAD, price action is a bit of a myth. I mean, maybe if we do break out the range, I think there could be some nice buys in the breakout. I do expect us to eventually come back and retest the high here. So maybe a strong break of this area. I could consider some pullbacks for a long there. It depends on the risk reward as well and the breakout and how that looks. But I can possibly see something there for a push higher. At the moment, we're still respecting resistance pretty well, so not much to report on there, but something could be looking to brew up soon. USD, Euro, Aussie, nah, not really feeling those pairs. Some of the other CHF pairs, well, because I'm still in Aussie CHF and I still got full risk on that position, I'm not really looking to jump into any other CHF pairs, to be honest. So, yeah, I'm putting those pairs to one side as well. So, yeah, and gold, I'm not really interested in, and silver, not really interested in either. It looks to me that silver's probably getting ready to gear up for a bullish move back to highs. So I can see a bit more upside for that one. I think intraday, there might be some nice buys on a break and retest somewhere or a pullback somewhere. But maybe not quite on the timeframes I'm looking to trade on. So yeah, for the most part, USD is probably my main focus for now. Let me actually check. I haven't actually checked the news for today. Because of course we had CPI early in the week, which set the tone for USD being pretty bearish. Okay, so we do have jobless claims later today and PPI. Maybe that could give us some strength for the dollar, maybe. Probably do need a bit of news to get the ball rolling. And then for Friday, JPY, GDP, early hours of the morning. Retail sales for USD, Michigan consumer sentiment as well. Nothing crazy to end the week, to be honest. Next week, how we looking? CPI inflation for CAD. Inflation for pound, CPI for euro. Okay, a lot of inflation. FMC minutes for USD on Wednesday, but it's only the minutes. I'm not expecting too much there. PPI for euro, PPI for pound, jobless claims, dollar, and not much on Friday. So yeah, nothing really big coming up, to be honest. Few CPIs here and there for euro, pound, JPY, which can of course cause some movement. But regarding dollar, nothing big I would say is coming up. Maybe FMC minutes, but that doesn't really cause too much damage these days. So yeah, my focus will be going into dollar for the foreseeable future, just waiting for some momentum there, but nothing quite there yet. Looks like we're trying to retrace most of that candle anyway. In terms of the indices, I've kept an eye on them. They've been pretty bullish. We spoke about the DAX at the start of the stream. That's looking pretty bullish to me. And NAS is doing the exact same thing. Lovely breaking retest over there, and we were on our way. I would just be looking at the exact same thing, repeating, and the breaking retest there, just like what we did over there. Got a breaking test once, twice. I'll be looking for a third time, and just kind of continuing that that streak there, because all the higher time frames are bullish. You're seeing convincing momentum across the board. You're seeing higher time frames being bullish as well. So you're trading in favor, of the tide of the larger play. Yes, you just created all-time highs past this point, so you're expecting a bigger pullback at some point. But again, when you're especially in a bullish climate like this on the indices, it's very difficult to suggest where that point's going to be. It could be here, or it could be in a couple of weeks' time. So there could be a lot more upside to take advantage of. So I find the best bet is just looking to keep buying the opportunities as they do present. And then when we start to see maybe a break of structure or momentum creep in like we did here, then we can kind of back away and see what the next likely move is. But for now, the NAS to me looks really bullish. I like what we're seeing here. Pretty strong move down. Now price is quite sideways. It'd be nice to see us kind of break lower, take out the lows there, test that support level, and then just again see the next higher low form, hopefully after some healthy rejection at that area. In terms of the S&P, pretty similar. Really nice price action, of course, seeing some new highs there as well. But to me, the overall structure is very bullish. Same situation as NAS. You've got the higher time frames being bullish as well. Lovely bullish leg. Again, I'll just keep an eye for a possible retest for a continuation. Even I'll keep an eye on the retest of the high here as well. We might not even see a big enough pullback to get here. It may only take us this far before we do continue. So I'd keep an eye on the high at 64.33 as well. But yeah, I'll definitely keep an eye on this area for a buy and possibly for another continuation. But S&P looking for onwards and upwards. Sure, we've created the new higher pullback. Will be on the horizon soon. I definitely agree. But again, we'll be patient with that. We could still be bullish for another couple of weeks before that bigger pullback does happen. So I wouldn't want to jump into that too quickly. And US 30, really nice move to the upside. This was actually a pretty decent move there from US 30. We had some powerful support on our left, which price did manipulate. Bit of a fake out to the downside, but we did recover pretty well. Then we found support again, and really aggressive move to the upside from there. But the way I was looking at US 30 really was just like any other choppy market, any other rangy market. You got your highs over there, you got your lows over there. Your price simply had a bit of a fake out, came back to retest the lows, and from there you had your swing. Of course, take into consideration that the overall trend is still to the upside, so I'm definitely going to be leaning towards the bullish side of things. But now that we are approaching the highs again, we're back at square one really with US 30. I wouldn't be wanting to buy the market now, that's for sure. This is still a very, very significant level, although I do expect at some point US 30 to likely break through this level. I wouldn't bet on it before it's happened in terms of buying into that resistance level. We've seen some really big, impactful shorts from here. One there, a really big one over there, and a fairly decent reaction over there as well. So with US 30, I would very much be waiting for the breakout to happen, waiting for a convincing break, and then we can talk about some pullbacks afterwards, perhaps a retest of the zone, a nice pullback after that, and hopefully find some buys on the retracement. So that's really where the focus would be going forward with US 30 in terms of the buying opportunities. There could be something back here. I'm not the biggest fan of that because it's kind of trading inside the middle of the range, which is always a place where I say I want to stay far away from. But because it's US 30, I do think we could probably see a reaction and a continuation off the back of that. This is a very, very aggressive bullish move. Should we see a kind of a healthy pullback to that area, I do think that's a nice place for a buy. I still think this would be the better opportunity if that was to happen. A strong break of that level, then some pullbacks. I think that would be the better opportunity. But I do think this should provide some nice opportunities as well. We can probably focus it on the retest of the high there. But yeah, US 30 would be very bullish for this one, expecting more upside. I spoke about the DAX early in the stream. Again, looking very bullish to me. I said there could be some nice buys in the breakout here with some stops underneath the wick low there. Maybe not the best stop loss placement in terms of safety, but I do like what I'm seeing, especially in terms of momentum. If you want to look for safety in terms of stop loss, you could place it underneath the low here. But of course, that could skew things in terms of your risk reward. Might be looking at about a 1-to-1 into the high, which is not the worst thing in the world. Yeah, anything kind of above a 1-to-1, I would always favor. Maybe preferably a bit more 1-to-2, but yeah, 1-to-1 here and there won't really affect your risk reward in the long term. So yeah, maybe not the best risk reward, but of course, if you can have the stop loss here, that'd be a bit more of an aggressive stop loss, but I think it's still in a fairly safe place, and you're kind of banking on momentum kicking in anyway. So if it does start to roll over past that low, you probably don't want to be in the trade anyway. Oh, didn't mean to do that. So yeah, the DAX looking pretty bullish to me. Similar opportunity to US 30 in terms of we had a range. Price had a big fake out of the range, recovered it, retested it. Now I'm expecting continuation back to the high. So the DAX, I do think is still likely to continue and probably go create some new highs as well in the near future. DJ Gaming, what about USD? Okay, dollar CHF, we can take a look at that as well. I'm still pretty bullish on the USD, not quite seeing signs of that yet. So I'm looking to buy, but I wouldn't say the signs to buy just yet. No problem, Bashi, no problem. I appreciate it, my man. Yeah, guys, if you are enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe it, share it with your friends as well. And of course, drop any questions. I'll be more than happy to answer. But I appreciate that message, Bashi. So in terms of dollar CHF, so this is a pair which I was in, yeah, this week. So I entered the trade this week. I did close the position early. So I bought there. I did close here because momentum started to fail. So I just decided to close the trade a bit early rather than stay in the trade and take the full loss because momentum was already lost at that point in time. But the idea was kind of banking on USD being strong, which we haven't really seen. So I'm still looking for signs of USD strength coming into play, which looking at the dollar, we're not quite seeing there yet. We're trading at some nice areas where we could see some strength come into play, but not really seeing that come into play just yet. So kind of waiting for that to happen. But yeah, back to dollar CHF. We are still holding support, so I'm not kind of giving up hope on dollar CHF just yet. But I have to say I've lost kind of belief that we are going to see a big continuation, because that was the plan when I hopped into the trade, that we can kind of see momentum continue and price start to do something like this and basically continue this bullish structure. But yeah, didn't really see that happen. Potentially that could still be the case, but I'm not quite seeing hope of that. So this is a nice place for a buy, but the way I see it, we are kind of just ranging here. So if you are going to pick some buys here, I wouldn't have the hopes of something like this. I'll kind of buy it with the anticipation that, okay, we might see a push up, but I'm very prepared to exit early if we do start to come back down. If we catch a breakout, great. Can leave positions to run and hopefully we can catch a really big move. But we are quite flat here for dollar CHF, so I wouldn't get my hopes up too much. So yeah, I think there could be some nice buys off support. It is still holding pretty well. It's still a very significant level. So I would suggest keep an eye for some longs off the low. But yeah, I wouldn't bank on a huge move up, especially with the DXY not really giving us much convincing signs that we're about to push up as well. Maybe if the dollar can start showing some convincing bullish signs that we're about to push up higher, then maybe dollar CHF could look a little bit better as well. But the way I see it, we're kind of just ranging here, a little bit flat, especially if you break the floor here. I mean, there is still areas of demand here where we could bounce, but I will be careful that we don't do something like this and break lower. There might be some nice buys if you approach this area. Of course, nice area of demand. I could see a situation where we do push up just to retest structure to continue lower. So I would be careful of that as well. So yeah, hopefully that made sense on USD. Excuse me. You want to sell at 0.80611 in USDCHF. Okay, looking good. Excuse me. Do you hop in that just recently off this area? Because I think, yeah, I can imagine maybe you hopped into an area of supply, then you left. So yeah, looking good, looking good. I think possibly because, the push to the low. I mean, I would suggest that, that this move has looked pretty corrective, so I wouldn't be too surprised to see us kind of do something like that again. Maybe if you're targeting some lows here, that could be a nice idea, especially on a lower time frame. But that is pretty significant support, so I would be careful at that area. So if you can get some shorts back into the low, maybe you do catch a breakout, but I will be prepared to kind of close the trade early just in case we do kind of bounce at that area. Yeah, I would agree as well, Bashi. Yeah, to encourage the push for the DXY. Yeah, without it, we might not. I mean, we need that catalyst. We need a catalyst to get the dollar going because it's looking quite flat right now. And if we don't see anything, it's probably just going to maybe go a little bit sideways and start to kind of slowly bleed. It's going to need a bit of a kick to get the ball rolling. All right, take care, Yusuf. Have a great day, my man. We'll catch you in the next one. Yeah, I think he's off. ORB strategy. I have no idea what that is. Gojo Media. Yeah, hopefully Trump could tweet something maybe. That would be nice. But to be honest, it's 50-50 what happens there. Dollar could absolutely tank, depending on what he says. But I'm not in any USD pairs yet, so I'm just keeping an eye on USD. That's where my focus is for a new position. At the moment, I'm kind of monitoring the two positions I've got going at the moment. But if I do get into a new position, it probably would either be, actually probably most likely be Euro USD shorts at this point in time. I don't see another USD pair which I'll get in. Yeah, it'll probably be Euro USD at this time. So it could have been Aussie dollar as well, but like I said, I'm into other Aussie currency pairs, so I don't want to overdo it on the Aussie side of things. So yeah, with Euro USD, that's probably more likely opportunity in the market. Again, nothing crazy, just looking for the possibility of a lower high for another push down. That's all I'm looking for, and just waiting for a good entry, with of course keeping a close eye on the DXY as well, because I want to see some signs of some upside there. So that will be the plan for rest of the day and pretty much the rest of the week, to be honest, as well. I stopped trading New York because of him. That's funny. Yeah, I agree. Euro looks better. Anyway, guys, I will be live again actually later today on Trader Nick's channel. So if you do want to see more of me, and of course we'll do a brief update what's going on. Of course, the other people will be there. We'll probably look at some different markets as well. So if you do want to see that stream later today, head over to Nick's channel. And about 2.5 hours from now, I'll be live with him. So check it out if you are interested. If not, I will be live again on my channel here tomorrow, same time as always, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. So I hope to see you there. And of course, I will be live on Twitter later, 6 p.m. UK time. If you're interested in the Zenthrix project, AI, what that can do for you, decentralization, the opportunities regarding that as well. So if you're interested with that project and learning a bit more, head over to the link which I did put in the Telegram. So if you head over to the Telegram, which is linked in the description, you'll see the link to there. Or if you follow me on Twitter, you'll see me retweet it as well. So you can check it out there. That'll be later today, 6 p.m. UK time. If not, I will see you guys tomorrow. But I do appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate it, Bashi. Yeah, guys, before you do leave, drop a like and subscribe. It does really help out the channel. If you do want to support the channel, you can join the memberships. There's more perks there. You can get loyalty badges, check out more content regarding signals, trade breakdowns as well, and also tailored posts as well, and of course priority replies and comments as well. So if you want to check it out, feel free to join the memberships, which is I think at the bottom of the video. But guys, appreciate it. Have a great day. We'll catch you later. Yeah, guys, have a good day. Like I said, stream later today if you're able to catch it. See you there. If not, hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one, guys.
Introducing Zentrix AI-powered trading signals service. Tired of second-guessing your trades? Zentrix AI scans the markets 24/7 with powerful, proven indicators built to give you clarity. You get 200+ signals every day on 15-minute, 1-hour, 4-hour, and daily charts. We cover Forex, crypto, commodities, indices, and stocks, so you're covered no matter what you trade. And the best part, you get all this delivered 3 ways, every day. Web alerts give you fast, clean access right from your dashboard. Telegram delivers real-time entries, confidence levels, sentiment, and trade duration. And email gives you the full breakdown, including 2 profit target levels and deep market analysis. Just hold $5 worth of ZTR. See what you can achieve with powerful AI trading intelligence by Zentrix. Try it now. And join our Telegram channel.